All right, so welcome. My name is Annie Rudin, and so here, this is me, and this is my family. I have, that's my husband Dan, and I have two little boys, and I'm actually expecting my third child, and I find out today whether it's a boy or a girl, so kind of an exciting day for us. But we live in Arizona, the state of Arizona, and it's beautiful here. We actually just moved here from Oregon, so we're enjoying it here. I have been teaching English pronunciation and fluency for several years. I don't know how many years now, but the Pronunciation Pro English training, English pronunciation and fluency training program was designed by me, and you'll see me in all the videos. Today we have a collection of current students, people who are students who are currently going through the program, and students and those who have signed up for the free trial and have maybe watched those first videos for the first week but haven't continued on. So that's me in the videos. We spent a lot of time really organizing those and making sure that they are as effective as possible as you go through the 12-week course. So it's exciting to see the progress of my students as they go through the program, and both with the video program and the personalized training that you can get with the different packages really makes for a fantastic program that I'm really proud of. So I'm glad you're either enjoying it, or if you're kind of on the fence about whether you're going to do it or not, I hope that today will help you feel more confident in the kind of training that you're going to get, because it's very high quality training that you're not going to find anywhere else. All right, so let's get started. Let's talk about American English pronunciation. All right, so just to step back a little bit and teach you a little bit about American English pronunciation. What I teach in this course is generally referred to as General American English or Standard American English. And what that means is there's a whole history of the English language, and how it's progressed over the years. But basically, what we find now is that there's a standardized English pronunciation that is found in America and in the United States, and it's a result of the news. They usually refer to it as newscaster English or TV English, and it's typically what you hear on the television or radio. And it's more of a Midwestern American accent. And if you've traveled around the US, you've probably heard the different dialects or accents that happen. There's a very strong one on the East Coast and in the South. And but the standard that we teach is the kind of English, is the English accent that is most understood by the majority of English speakers. So it's very easy for people to understand, no matter where they're from or what accent they might have. All right, so as we go through the lesson today, we're going to be talking about pronunciation rules. But one thing to be aware of is that 85% of English words follow the pronunciation rules. Oops, I have a little typo there. So 85% of English words follow the pronunciation rules. So that means there's 15% there that don't. And really what we find is, because America, the history of America really involves a lot of immigrants from different countries. America is referred to as the melting pot, which means melting pot refers back to the days where there were blacksmiths, people working with metal, and they would have this big melting pot, a big pot that they would heat up to very high temperatures, and they would, say it was a metal cup or a metal bowl or a fork or a knife, and they would melt them all together so they became one piece of metal. And basically what you find in America is that we have so many influences from different countries that have come over and settled in America that you tend to find in American English, you tend to find, English pronunciation, British English pronunciation of words. You find words that have a Spanish origin, Latin origin, Greek. You find influences from France. You find all these influences in English and words that we've incorporated into our language that are really considered, a French word. So we have French pronunciations of them. So that's really what incorporates that 15%. But because of how English has evolved over the years, and now it's considered the standard, whether it's an English word or a Latin word or a French word. It's considered, some certain words are considered standard. So that's what we find here. And as we go through the rules, just remember there are plenty of exceptions. There are a lot of exceptions to the rules, but if you can learn the rules to understand the 85% of English, you are going to be understood the majority time. And then as you continue to refine your English, you'll get that 15% and you'll be able to be more and more aware of that 15%. So let's talk about that 85% and the rules that go along with it. All right, so we're going to talk about specifically English vowels today. Okay, and English vowels can be categorized into short versus long vowel pronunciations. So what I tend to divide these into short and long vowels. So let's talk about what those are. So the short vowels are vowels that are pronounced short. There's kind of a short pronunciation of them. There's not a lot of movement in the mouth. It's more of a neutral position for your mouth. So these sounds, and I write them, I don't use the International Phonetic Alphabet all that often because sometimes it's confusing. So I've kind of come up with my own version of writing the sounds. And if you've gone through the first week of the program and watched the Rudin phonetics video, then you'll know what that is. So for the short vowels, we have a, I, ah. Okay, and probably the vowel there that requires the most movement in the mouth is the ah sound, that you drop your jaw on that one. So a, I, and ah. So let's talk about the long vowels. Okay, long vowels get a little bit more tricky. Long vowels, typically, the reason they're referred to as long vowels is because they have a longer pronunciation and they have kind of like it's two sounds in one. So listen to these sounds as I say them and kind of listen for the two sounds that we're combining there. So the first one, A, so it says the name of its letter, A, I, O, and then we have E, Oo, Ow, and Oi. So more movement in the mouth, longer pronunciation. So the question that I get very often from my students is, how do you tell the difference between when I need to say a short vowel versus a long vowel? How can I tell in a written word what the difference is, or whether it's a short or a long vowel? That's a good question, because when you first learn English, you probably learned these rules, but as you continue on, it's easy to forget some of these rules. So we're going to review the rules and go over several examples. So if you have questions, hold off until we go through the examples, because we might answer your questions as we go through. So short vowels, let's talk about the rule. Okay, this is the more simple rule. Okay, typically with a short vowel, it's spelled with one vowel letter. So that's the key with a short vowel. One vowel letter. So examples are things like at, read, it, up, and hot. And notice there's either one vowel or it's surrounded by consonants. Okay, so, and there can be a short vowel in longer words that we'll talk about in a minute, but it's how, just think of short vowels with one vowel letter. Now let's talk about the long vowels. Long vowels are a little bit more tricky. There's two parts to this rule. So I'll go through it slowly. So typically, long vowels are spelled using two vowel letters. So think of that, two vowel letters for long vowels. So the first part of this rule is that vowels, so these vowels are written together. So we have these two vowels written together, so they're next to each other in a vowel-vowel consonant pattern. That's what VVC means. Vowel-vowel consonant pattern. So we have two vowels right next to each other. So the little saying that a lot of us learn as we're learning English here in the States is, when two vowels go walking, the first one does the talking. So it's an easy phrase to remember. When two vowels go walking, the first one does the talking. So really, for the examples here, when you have two vowels together, the first vowel is going to do the talking, or is going to get that long pronunciation. So for boat, O, we've got that long O in there. So it's going to get that long vowel in the beginning. Boat, made, made. Getting that long vowel. Q. Okay, do you hear that U getting that full vowel pronunciation? All right, so let's go over the second part of this rule. So two vowels go walking, first one does the talking. Now the second part of this rule is that when one consonant is between the two vowels, so you then have the vowel consonant vowel pattern, then the first vowel is still going to do the talking. Okay, so even though there's a vowel in between the two vowels, or there's a consonant between the two vowels, that first vowel is still going to get its full long pronunciation. So for example, made. So you see those two vowels there, the A and the E? There's only one consonant in between them. So the A is going to get that full pronunciation, made. Same with ride and tide. Okay, so just one vowel in between. So the biggest thing for long vowels is when two vowels go walking, the first one does the talking, whether the vowels are together, right next to each other, excuse me, or there's only one consonant in between. All right, so let's kind of contrast these long and short vowels, or add another kind of element to help you understand that idea. So if there are two consonants between two vowels, then the first vowel gets the short pronunciation. So think of it as, so you have these two vowels that like to stick together because the first one likes to talk a lot. If you put one consonant in between them, that vowel can still get the long pronunciation, but if you put two consonants in between those vowels, then it becomes a short pronunciation. That first vowel becomes a short pronunciation. So that can get confusing, so hopefully I didn't lose you on that one. So for example, these first examples are for the long vowels. So the two vowels go walking, we have two vowels together for made, and then the second made, these are pronounced the same actually, two different meanings, and then made, M-A-D-E, just has that one consonant in between. But if we change it to matter, and we put two D's in between those vowels, it makes it short. So think of it as that extra consonant kind of protects the short vowel. or keeps it from being long. It protects that short vowel. So if there are two consonants between the vowels, then it becomes short. Hopefully that makes sense. We're going to go over several examples of the long and short vowels now. So let's talk about the short vowels now. So here's an example of the short vowel. So we have master, is a short vowel, master. Okay, you have those two vowels there, but the S and the T, those are two consonants, so it creates a buffer there so that it gets the short vowel. Collar, like a dog collar, something you put around a dog's neck. And collar, like there's a collar on the phone. These have the same pronunciation, and they both follow the short vowel rule. So you have the ah, collar. The ah and the a kind of have that same ah pronunciation in this word. And the two L's create that buffer to keep it short. Okay, often is that short ah. Often has two consonants, the F and the T, to create that buffer, so it's going to be a short vowel. And say these words with me as you're listening on. Often, collar, master. Okay, let's do the next one. Which. This one is a situation where there's just one vowel, so it's always going to be short if there's only one vowel in there. And which, like which one are we going to choose? And there's a witch in the sky. They're pronounced the same. Common. Okay, so two M's there, creates a buffer. Common. It is common to get these rules confused. All right, let's go over the long vowel examples. Station. Okay, do you see how the A and the I, they only have one consonant in between? So it's going to be a long vowel. Station. Baseline. So this one has actually two examples of that long vowel, the A and the I. Baseline. And we only have one consonant in between the A and the E and the I and the E. Thesis. Okay, long E there because there's only one consonant between the E and the I. Explain. Okay, so these two vowels are right next to each other, so we're gonna, two vowels go walking, the first one does the talking. So that A is going to get this full pronunciation. Explain. And the last example here, reason. Two vowels go walking, first one does the talking. Reason. All right, so hopefully those make sense here. So let's talk about, I'm going to contrast a few short and long vowels so you can see them side by side. Okay, so here we have cost and coast. So the first one follows the short vowel rule. The second one follows the long vowel rule. Listen to the difference in the pronunciation. Cost, coast. How about this one? Wedding, waiting. Wedding, waiting. Okay, and one thing you'll notice, and this is I think this rule comes up in week 2, is when, so you notice when I said waiting, I'm waiting for someone to come, that T became a D pronunciation when I said it, because the rule there is when a T is surrounded by two vowels, it tends to be pronounced as a D sound instead of a T. So waiting instead of waiting, waiting. Typically, native English speakers don't say waiting, they say waiting, and that's because of that rule. All right, how about this one? The first two words, bull and ball, our short vowels, bull, ball, and then we have bowl, bowl. Bull, ball, bowl. Okay, so this might be a tricky one because you might not hear the difference between all of these sounds, and that's okay. During the 12-week course, what we do is we go through these sounds very systematically. We go through each of the vowel sounds, well, each of the sounds, and we do sound awareness quizzes. We do sound awareness activities so that you tune your ear to the difference, so we contrast sounds that sound similar, and you really practice hearing the difference before you start saying the difference, because it's important that your ear can hear the difference between these sounds, and then you can know how then you can learn how to say the sounds. So I'm going to say these three again: bull, ball, bowl. Okay, and you can see how there can be confusion in English when just the slightest difference in a vowel can change the word completely and change the meaning of the word. So these vowels are very important. Certain English sounds are very important so that you're not misunderstood as you're saying, these different vowels. All right, here's one: slip and sleep. Slip, sleep. This is a very common one, to mistake the eh for the e sound. Okay, a lot of times I hear one for the other. So instead of saying I need to sleep tonight, it would sound like I need to slip tonight, or vice versa. He will slip on the concrete. He will sleep on the concrete. You can see how there would be some misunderstanding if you didn't quite get those vowels correct. And then pad and paid. Pad is the short vowel. Paid is the long vowel. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out of and let me just see if there are any questions anyone has. So if you have a question, raise your hand. Let's see, I can answer any questions about that. Before we get into the vowel exceptions, are those rules making sense to you? Are you able to hear the difference or see the difference between what a short vowel, how the short vowel is supposed to be written, and a long vowel? Okay, it doesn't look like there's any questions here, so that's okay. We'll keep going. All right, so let's go over the vowel exceptions. All right, so the vowel exceptions, remember 15% of English words won't follow the rules. Okay, so we have some of these exceptions to the rules. So let's just go over a few of them. Broadcast. Okay, we have two vowels walking together, but in this case, it's commonly pronounced as ah, that short ah. Broadcast. Broadcast. How about this one? This is a very common word in English. Said. Said. It really should be said, right? Said. But this is usually pronounced as said in English. Said. And really the reason behind this one really just has to do with the fact that it's said frequently enough in English, and we tend to reduce sounds that we say frequently. Another example of that is of. Let's see, is that the word that I was thinking? To. To is a good example. To, T-O, to. So I want to go to the store. Typically, native English speakers don't say to, they say ta, ta. Because we say it frequently enough, and it's easier to say as ta, as we're going to the store. I'm going to the store. Okay, said is the same idea. He said that to her. He said that to you. He said that to you. All right, bread. Bread. It really should be breed based on the spelling, but we typically say it as bread. I had one client that was at a restaurant. He was telling me he was at a restaurant, and we had been working on the long and short vowel, and he was getting a little confused on it. And he asked the waiter for more bread, but he was saying braid. Can I have more braid? And he was doing the long A sound. And the waiter could not understand they had this miscommunication, didn't understand, kept asking to repeat it. And finally his kids said, Dad, it's bread, bread. And so those long and short vowels can get confusing. Does. Does is a very common word in English as well. Does. It should be, based on the pronunciation or the spelling, it should be does, but we pronounce it as does. Does he want to come? Does she like the new furniture? And another one, daughter. Daughter has that ah pronunciation, even though there's two vowels there. Daughters. All right, and so you might be asking yourself, okay, there's all these exceptions. How am I supposed to know about the exceptions? And really, going back, 85% of English words follow the rules. So as you're working on your pronunciation and you're learning the rules of English, and there are a lot of rules that we cover in this course, but you learn the basis for that 85%, you're really tuning your ear to the different sounds of English and the different rhythms of English. And as you tune your ear, it brings this added awareness to your speech. And what I find is there's kind of this light bulb experience that my students have, that as they're going through the course and they're learning that 85%, that those exceptions, or that 15% that doesn't follow the rules, tends to stand out to them in their daily life. As they're going about their day, they say, oh, I noticed that he said this way. Is that an exception to the rule? Because I know the rule is this, but he said it this way. And so it really helps them to grasp that idea, and just it really kind of tunes your ear to pronunciation, to what you're doing and what other people are doing, and it's quite the experience. So so are there any questions? I know we just stopped to see if there are any more questions, so I'm going to stop again. Raise your hand if you have any questions, and we can go over that. After this, I'm going to talk about the special discount that you get for being here today, for those who are not already students, and actually those who are students now, there's additional trainings. If you want to get more private trainings, this discount applies to you as well, but it also applies to the packages that we have. So anyway, any questions here? Doesn't look like there are any, so we'll keep going. All right, so so what we have, and we've kind of been working on how to exactly present the English pronunciation and fluency training program through Pronunciation Pro. How to really construct these so you're getting the best training at the best price. And so recently we have constructed these new packages, and we feel like they are really going to move you through the program and give you the best options depending on what your budget is. So we have the Basic, Plus, and Premier. And basically the Basic is the 12-week online lessons that you get the materials, you get the MP3 trainings, you get the video lessons, get all of that. Plus you get access to these live webinars. And the purpose of these live webinars is to really give you that added trainings to help you really solidify those, to continue to improve on your pronunciation beyond what you're learning in the 12-week program. The Plus program is great. I really, really like this program because it takes everything from the basic package, and then you also get after every week of the 12 weeks, you submit an assignment page, and it's a recording of you reading the assignment, and practicing the skills that you learned through that week. And then you send it to your trainer. Your trainer listens to it, writes their feedback, and records feedback for you and sends that back to you. So it's this back and forth. You're sending recordings to each other through the 12 weeks. And I've seen such incredible growth through these 12 through the 12-week program as you're getting that personalized feedback. So if you're able to jump up to that $3.99 option, then that is a fantastic one because you get that personalized feedback. And it also includes a full speech assessment. So at the beginning of your course, you get this full speech assessment that tells you exactly what you're doing, what your errors are in English pronunciation, and what you specifically need to pay attention to through the 12-week program. And then we have the Premier package, which is wonderful. It has everything from the Plus package, but you also get weekly live trainings with an American instructor. So it's 40 minutes a week over the 12 weeks. You get the full speech assessment, you get the recorded feedback, and in this one, we offer a 50% improvement guarantee. So we do a test at the beginning of the assessment at the beginning of the program and an evaluation at the end of the program. And we can rate your improvement. How many errors, we compare the errors that you did at the beginning and the errors at the end. And we can show you how much you've improved. And our students always get at least 50% improvement. It's usually between 50 and 85% improvement. So, and we can guarantee at least 50 because you're working with an instructor. I know that you're following through with the assignments, and I can really kind of help you through that to make sure you're making the most progress. All right, so you've probably already done the 7-day trial if you're here. So the next step is whether you are ready to start one of these programs. So just to help you out about a little here, we're going to offer you, I'm going to offer you a 10% off any package price. And this offer is good through the end of this month. So through January, you can get 10% off. And for our current students that are here today, you can get, we also offer individual private trainings, a package of 6 private trainings. If you go onto the Pronunciation Pro website and go to the info and pricing page, you'll find all these packages plus our additional offerings. So you can get 10% off of anything before the end of January. So just enter that discount code when you're checking out on the site. Enter that discount code of 10% off and you'll get it. You'll get 10% off your package. So I encourage you to do it. If you're struggling with your English pronunciation and fluency, if you're really thinking, I need to advance in my career, or I need to improve my presentation skills, or people just don't seem to be understanding me and I'm not exactly sure why, this program will tell you exactly why. This is what we're trained in. This is what we do best. We take where you are now and we teach you how to change it so that you're speaking with that more native American English accent that's understood by the majority of English speakers around the world. All right, so one other thing, just thank you for coming to this webinar. Please, please, please contact me if you have any other questions or if you'd like a free consultation. I do consultations all the time. People who just want to talk about the program, get more comfortable with me, get more comfortable with what we teach. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and email me at annie@pronunciationpro.com, and we'll set up a time to meet either through Skype or over the phone. So I'm so glad that you're here. I'll stick around if you have any questions, but thank you for being here today, and I hope you have a great rest of the week. Thanks. Bye.